Many healers come to me and ask me, hey Noah, how can I record my vocals, my voice for a meditation, for healing music, or how can I bring it into a song? And in this video, we will take a look at a very simple and straightforward way to get your voice into Ableton Live without getting lost in all the technical stuff. So my goal is to have really a step-by-step plan for you. So yeah, that you know how to do this in a very simple and easy way. And no matter for which kind of project you want to record vocals, the process is always the same. And also, if you don't have any equipment right now, that's no problem. I guess you have a phone, and that's everything that you need basically already to get your vocals into Ableton. Of course, the quality is way better when you have a high quality microphone that can capture way more detail in your voice. But still, a phone is better than having nothing and having no meditation out there. And so many people are not doing things because they think they don't have the right equipment. But I think you can start with whatever you have and then improve later. And so that's why I really want this to be very simple so that you don't get like lost and that you excuse yourself for I'm not technical enough or anything like that, because you don't have to be as a healer and as someone who's creating things. The important thing is to just learn the step-by-step plan. It's basically like a recipe. It's not more than that. Of course, the environment is a little bit different, but that's how it is. And so, like I already said, start with your smartphone. If you don't have a lot of budget, if you don't have a lot of equipment right now, if you can invest a little bit more, I sometimes recommend the USB microphones. That's especially good if you're not recording on a very high professional level. Or for example, if you want to record vocals for singing, I usually always recommend to get a real setup with like an audio interface and an XLR condenser microphone. Just in this case, that would be a setup like this. And that's the approach that requires a little bit more budget because you have to buy an audio interface. That's this device that you in the end connect with your computer. And that bridges this connection between, because here you can see this is a quite thick cable. And so this is an XLR cable, that's the name of it. And so you need a device in which you can plug this cable into and then get the signal into the computer. And that is basically what an audio interface is doing. But that's the approach when you want to go really serious, when you have a little bit of money to invest. But all of these free options definitely work, definitely can help you to create a meditation, create healing vocals, light language, whatever. And so, that's what I would start with. And then, of course, it's about how can I now get this microphone, which is in the end the way to record the real source of sound, my mouth, my vibrations that I create, into the computer and then get it kind of digital. And so in this stage, we either use, when you're recording with a phone, you can just use the voice memos app, and you can get then the file exported, then shared with your computer. And that's how you can then drag it into a software like Ableton, for example. If you're using a microphone that's working with USB, then it's usually just like plugging in a cable into your computer directly, so you don't need this audio interface. And so that's a little bit cheaper and a little bit faster to set up, a little bit easier also to set up. And if you want to go fully serious, then you have the audio interface that's then connected into the computer, which has usually also a USB connection. But the signal that's coming into the audio interface is like a real signal with voltage, with electricity basically. And so that's why this cable is a little bit thicker. And in this audio interface, there are a few things then also to consider. That's what we're coming to in the next point. But yeah, that's basically the approach. Just get a connection of your microphone to your computer. And when that is set, we can check a few things. And so now you can see here Ableton Live is running. And so in Ableton Live, there's this settings tab right here on the top. And inside of these settings, that's where you choose your microphone. That's where you choose where the signal is coming from. Maybe sometimes it's also starting here, then you need to go to audio. But yeah, so when you go here to audio input device, then you can see that there are many different microphones. In my case, when you go there, maybe there's just the microphone of MacBook Pro and maybe another microphone. That's depending on how many devices are connected to the MacBook. In this case, there's a lot of stuff connected. But yeah, basically you now choose your microphone. Or when you do it with the voice memos technique, you can also leave it on no device. That's no problem because you have already recorded it. And so this is where you really choose which device do we want to speak with in this case. And so here, in this case, I now choose this one, Scarlett 18i20, because that's this device that I'm using right here for my voice. And so, yeah, that's what we are selecting. If you're using a USB microphone, then yeah, you will see a name of this microphone. You can also check the manual if you're not sure how it is called. But yeah, usually you can always see it here. And when that is set, then yeah, you can also double check if that is correct. It's either the MacBook Pro speakers or also an audio interface, or maybe also headphones, because audio output device is where you can just hear something. In my case, I want to hear it through the headphones. So that's all fine. Now we can close this window right here. And now you see something has changed. Something is moving when I'm speaking here. And so this is already showing you that there is signal. And if you don't see that yet, then that's no problem. What we have to choose here is that we have an external signal in, that the signal is coming from external. That's the only thing we need to tell Ableton here. Then we need to tell Ableton, okay, we want to get the signal from a specific channel. You can see there's also something going on with the number 2 here. That's another microphone I have that's not getting that much signal, but this one is getting my main signal right now. And so that is on the number 1. And so if you're using a USB microphone, it's usually also either there's only one, or maybe there is also 2. And then you can check also whether you have stereo settings or something like that. Usually in the manual it's all described, but usually number 1 is the main channel. And when you're using an audio interface, you can see usually numbers on the audio interface. And so these are the channels. And yeah, in this case, I can also show you here, there's a software included in Focusrite. So that's how it looks. That's just a little panel of my audio interface that's showing me, okay, there's signal coming in on channel 1. And so I need to choose channel 1 in this case. So yeah, that this works here. So yeah, let's do that. Channel 1, that's fine. In my case, it's already showing me signal here, and that's because I've already set it up. If you don't see signal yet, if you have a condenser microphone like this one, you need to activate this little knob. It's usually just a knob. It's 48V called. It's 48 volts. That's what it means. Sometimes it's also called phantom power. And that's a setting that you always need to activate when you're working with a professional microphone like this one. If you're using a dynamic microphone, like for example for stages, or in general they are a little bit more like you can hold them in your hand, then you can keep that deactivated. You don't need that. That's really only for these studio microphones, because they need some like electricity, a little voltage, so that they actually work and that there's actually signal. And so that's what I see with many people, that this goes wrong, that they think, yeah, it's all connected, but nothing is coming. That's usually because the 48 volt is not on. So yeah, when that is checked, also that is something you don't need in a USB microphone usually. If it's required, then also check on your microphone whether you need to turn it on somewhere. And so when that is activated, then you can choose the gain. So there's usually a gain slider that you can turn. Also on your USB microphone here, I have a little picture. For example, this one right here, the Rode. Here you can see on the side, it has this, like these little knobs that you can turn, and these are usually inputs, and that means how loud does the signal need to be when it's coming into the audio interface. And so yeah, it's in this case I'm not even sure whether it's an input, but maybe it's even just the output. But some microphones have this input channel, and if you're using an audio interface, the input is usually on the audio interface, where you have all of these little parameters. And so in this case, you check that you turn up the volume slider, the gain slider, a little bit, so that you can see that there's signal coming. Sometimes that's shown with a little like a green light on the audio interface. You can also see it right here. It's all green, or also in this Focusrite software here. You can see that we're in the green range. And so I have turned up the gain a little bit so that we can hear something. But if I would turn it up too much, then it would get into the red area or in the yellow area. And in some audio interfaces, it also shows a red. And so when that's coming, that's usually the sign, okay, this is already too much. And yeah, we should not keep it that loud. And so you can only test this also when you're speaking into the microphone, because it's about how loud will the signal be amplified in the microphone when it's going into the audio interface. And so when it's too low, that's usually not a huge problem. It shouldn't be super low, of course. There should be some sort of level. But when it's too loud, that's usually a problem. And I can demonstrate this right here. So now you can hear my voice. It's all sounding normal. It's all sounding great. But what if I now turn up the gain slider and I keep speaking? then you will see, okay, we're getting into the yellow already. And now the voice gets very weird. It's like also a little bit crunchy. And so now, okay, that's now very loud. And so, yeah, that was just too loud. And so now I go back to maybe this kind of level. And so that's usually the level that I'm operating in. If you're making vocals for a singing project, for example, and you're singing very loud, or when you're making a meditation with a lot of energy, then always make sure that you also try it when you sing very loud, that you check, okay, is the level still in the green or is it going into the red? Because when it's going into the red, that's already too much. We don't want this. And so just test it out. Record your voice, or not record, but just speak into the microphone. See in your audio interface whether it's getting into the red or into the yellow. Then it's already too much. Turn it down a little bit. And just, yeah, make sure that you're low enough so that you have enough like headroom, that there's enough space still left, because we want to record usually a little bit lower than too high, because when it's lower, I always say we can turn it up in the software again, we can bring it up again. But when it's too high, then the signal is just dead, it's just gone, it just doesn't sound great anymore. And so that's what we definitely want to avoid. So yeah, that's a huge point to check. But yeah, when that is set, then it's basically super simple. In the case of iPhone Voice Memo, it's basically just dragging in the audio in signal. You have already recorded it. When you're doing it with a USB microphone or an XLR condenser microphone, we always need to create an audio track. And so you can do this always with a Command T shortcut. You see, okay, I have created another audio track right here. But yeah, I already have one, so I can delete this. Now I press this red button right here. And so when I press this red button, you see there's also some signal coming here. And so that means that now this track is ready to record something. If you have multiple tracks, for example, here, then you see, okay, only one can record right now. If you want to record this one, for example, you press on this red one. If you want to record this one, then you press here. And so, yeah, that's basically how it works. You can, even when you hold Command, record several ones. But yeah, usually we all don't need this stuff. I just want to show you what this red button is doing. That is basically choosing which one do we want to record right now. And yeah, and so that's basically it. Let's try out to now actually record it. So I will just press play right here. And then I will also press on this circle right here. And so when I do this, then you can see, okay, it's getting into the red. And so that means now we are ready to record something. Here it's also now the orange. And you can see, okay, there's something recording here. When I speak louder, hey, hey, then you can also see that the waveform is a little bit, yeah, bigger than usual. And so that's basically just showing me which level do I have right now here. And so yeah, that's in the end it. And you can also then press on this red circle again to stop the recording. It's still playing, so you can press here to stop it. And so now we have recorded something, and now I can have a listen. And so yeah, just press here to the start. I press start again. And so when I do this, then you can see, okay, it's getting into the red. And so that means now we are ready to record something. Here it's all okay. So that worked. I have just recorded my first audio track. And yeah, and so when you're that far, you have made it, because then you can check, okay, the loudness is fine. Even when I was louder a little bit with my voice, then it was still that there's enough space. If I would have had the gain too high, it would already go here into the edges, and so that's then too loud. Yeah, and so that's basically how you can record your vocals. And so in the context of meditation, when I have like a little sound here, let's just take a little pad playing right here. I'll just so this would be the background, and then I just go here again. I record my voice on top of it. Let's just get into a little meditative vibe right now. Hey, welcome to this meditation. This is your time to relax, to fully let go. So this would be a little meditation recording. So now we can have a listen. Hey, welcome to this meditation. This is your time to relax. So yeah, that's it. That's how you can record your meditation vocals super quickly, super easily. Now, of course, you can do it to make it sound better, and maybe also even add a reverb to give it more depth. But yeah, I think in this video I'll just leave it at that point. It's about the recording of the vocals. And so yeah, that's basically it. Connect your microphone, even just get your smartphone, get a file ready. If you have a file, just drag it into Ableton, and then it will look exactly the same way like this one. If you're gonna record it live with Ableton running, connect your microphone, get it all set up, get the phantom power in, and that's it. Nothing more, to do here. All right, that's it for today. Have a wonderful day. Hear you in the next video. Bye bye.